Hey guys, Big Weir, road2road.com, coming to you from the car. A couple thoughts. I have posted a Patreon YouTube video about the latest attacks. So check that out. Really interesting stuff. Same old, right? Also, I am on what is that? Wait, let me do quick math. That would be 13 and a half of the cleanse. Feeling absolutely fantastic. And most people are. Some people are still struggling with it. That happens. 99% of it is a mental game. You learn to control your mind. Don't let your mind control you. Learn to control your mind. Don't let your mind control you. Absolutely, especially when you're on a cleanse. Now, the whole idea of a cleanse is to eat higher vibrational food for two reasons. One, well, 50 reasons, but two of the big reasons are, one, to clear the old system out. Get the years and years and years of junk out of your old system. And two, to replace that with some really good stuff. And that's what I'm really excited about now. So right now where I am is everything is cleared up. We are looking at, after the 2 weeks, 1 week of, I took a wrong turn here. 1 week of the just raw foods, and then 1 week of just raw food smoothies. Everything's pretty much cleared out of my system. And next week is all about injecting the purest form of the nutrients and vitamins back into your system and get things going again on a clean level. And that's what the juice week is all about. You'll be drinking vegetable juice and some fruit juice. I'm not going to do as much because Amy's giving me a hard time of doing too much fruit juice, because some of that vegetable juice I'm just not a fan of. So, yeah, I plan on doing more vegetable juice next week. And there's all these recipes that Amy's got that I'm going to go, yeah, let's do that one. So, yeah, I feel great. I hope everybody, and there's a lot of people. I don't know the exact count, but just from the people on Telegram and just from the people on Amy's, that she emails directly, it's well over 200. I'm thinking 300 or 400 people doing this. That is awesome. Of course, I don't know how many people have survived, how many people have taken a couple breaks, which is all good. You know, I was saying from the very beginning, if you fall off the horse, get back on it. Absolutely. Get back on the horse. And keep it going. Things are going great if you're on the 21-day cleanse. Now, we're going to do it again. Not back-to-back. We're going to take some time off. I'm going to take some time off. But Amy's got all kinds of new ideas in the works, and it's turned into a pretty cool thing, I think. So you didn't fully miss your chance to get healthy. Of course, you can do it at any time you want, but a guided cleanse, Amy's going to be throwing another one. We're thinking in January. So give us some time to go to the Litecoin Summit. We got some traveling to do. We'll be in St. Louis on the 17th. If you guys can get to St. Louis on the 17th, I would love to see you, hang out with you. We're going to give out gifts and prizes to the people who made the cleanse all the way through the 21 days. So I know there's a handful of people coming that have already reached out and said, hey, I'll be there. If you're going to be there, if you've done the cleanse and you're going to be there, reach out to me, bix@road2road.com. Let me know you're coming so I can bring enough gifts, awards, a major award. Because, yeah, everybody deserves something for getting through this. It's not easy, but truthfully, it's not all that hard. It's 99% of it is mental. And again, if you can control your mind, you can control everything. And it's really cool. Remember, when you eat stuff, the body is trying to get nutrients in there. And the rest is just kind of, it has to be processed to get the nutrients out. Is my latest theory. Now, you shouldn't live your whole life like this, doing, the cleanse every day. But it is a great thing to do. And I'm going to talk to my friend Bitcoin Ben. He hinted that he would start a cleanse right after the after his meetup on the 17th. We'll see. I'm not going to hold him to anything. He's a big boy. And I know, I mean, I would sell all my stock in Budweiser and in Tyson Foods, who makes chicken wings. If Bitcoin Ben goes on a 3-week cleanse. Because there's no chicken wings and no beer on the cleanse, Ben. I don't know if that was fully made, you were made aware of that fully. But yeah. Also, I want to talk about a few things I want to talk about. Catherine Austin Fitz and Greg Hunter had a great discussion on Greg Hunter's site, usawatchdog.com. One of the best sites out there for real news and no fake news over there. And Greg does a great job with his guests. He's got a large following. Catherine is brilliant. She doesn't see a collapse coming in Europe. She thinks it'll be taken care of by the powers that be. I agree that they can take care of it. They can take care of the derivative problem just like they've taken care of it for the last 100 years. They can take care of any problem. And I agree. And that's right on the Dick Allgaier's time frame too. I agree they can if they choose to. That's what I don't agree with. I think they are going to choose not to. They are choosing not to continue the system. They meaning both the good guys and the bad guys. The bad guys, obviously, because they know it's unsustainable, and if they really want to take over, they got to crash the system and steal the rest. But I think they're being busted for so many crimes these days, and there's so much evidence of the criminality. They want to crash the system to kind of run away from their sins, if possible. The good guys want to crash the system to take out the bad guys. So I think both sides want to crash the system. I think that's what all this fuss is about going after Deutsche Bank. It is not. They are not giving Deutsche Bank a pass. And remember, they've been giving banks like Deutsche Bank a pass for the last 50 years. These are not new crimes that are coming up. They could have done this 50 years ago, 100 years ago. These crimes are nothing new. It is that they are choosing now to do it, which gives me some inkling that, yes, they will be trying to take down the entire system. And I've got a few other things to prove that. Go to roadtoroot.com and join the private road, and you'll get more info on that. I do have a new offering coming up, and it's going to be a really, really, really good one with probably the biggest winner in the crypto altcoin space in the future. And some of you know who it is that I believe who the biggest winner might be. And I think they're literally revolutionizing the internet as far as data streaming on the internet. So I will get more into that. I think I'm going to do that next week. And I'm going to be giving away a whole bunch of those tokens with every private road subscription. So if you want a Veritasium, do it right now. Because I'm going to stop the Veritasium probably as of tomorrow. If you want one more Veritasium, renew your subscription or join the Road to Ruta. If you want the other coin, I can tell you what it is. It's going to be Theta. The more I hear about Theta, the more I learn about Theta, the more I'm like, holy crap, you better have a lot of Theta. Because that's going to be the monster. And I'll get into why more next week, but I'll be giving away a bunch of Theta starting tomorrow. At least for as long as I want to give out Theta. It's not the easiest coin to get. No coin is the easiest coin to get right now because of the risk of being involved in any way with these criminal exchanges. They could shut their doors tomorrow. The biggest fear I remember when I was buying coins on exchanges and trying to get them off, was that time frame between the time you put your money in or put your crypto in that you're going to exchange for and the time you buy your crypto that you want and the time you move it out. It's that time when you move it out. You're like, oh my God, I'm not doing it fast enough. It's not happening fast enough. It's not hitting my wallet. What's going on? That is scary. And you know, I've forgotten about all that stuff over the years. But you know, back then it was a lot scarier than it is today. Today, everything's, wow, it's easy as pie. You think cryptos are hard? Ha! You don't even know what you're talking about. Cryptos aren't hard. Cryptos are 5,000 times easier than they were 5 or 6 years ago. And 5,000, I feel 5,000 more times more confident that the cryptos will always be around than I did. Not all cryptos, obviously. There are dogs. And there there are cryptos also that have to have certain things happen for them to be massively valuable. Litecoin is a great example. Litecoin, there's not a lot of use cases for Litecoin today because we don't need a means of exchange. The banks are working just fine. Who needs to use Litecoin as a means of exchange when we have the banks, right? The moment the banks are no longer the preferred means of exchange, the moment that the banks crash or wobble, then the world will be looking around for, well, what's going to be that means of exchange? And the number one means of exchange, it has positioned itself perfectly, is Litecoin. I hope everybody, most of you guys already know that, but absolutely number one means of exchange is Litecoin. Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. But there's other cryptos too that are kind of waiting for things to happen, certain things to happen for them to fulfill their destiny as a coin that people want to own and will do well as far as the valuation. Now, the big question is going to be, as the banks start to crash, the exchanges will most likely shut down. And that's just not some exchanges, that will be all exchanges if the banks go down. So all crypto exchanges will shut down, all stock markets, all bond markets, all that. If there is a major collapse, a derivative collapse, where there's no bailout. Which is, I think, that's what they want to do. That's what that's what it was designed for. In the late 1990s, three guys, Alan Greenspan, Robert Rubin, and what's his name? The Harvard guy. It'll come to me in a second. All designed the regulations removed the regulations around derivatives. Larry Summers, around derivatives. They designed that so that the banks would use them to such an extent as to be so big as they would destroy the monetary system. And they would destroy the monetary system with computers and derivatives clashing against each other, and the defaults on the derivatives market will be so big that it will clean all sins, shall we say, and it will change to a new monetary system. Now remember, back then there was no Bitcoin. And because there was no Bitcoin, the idea was to go back to a gold standard that's outlined in the Road to Ruta documents. Now, I'm not making this up. This is coming from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, and the head of the Federal Reserve at the time, Alan Greenspan, who got out of the Fed. The first thing he said when he got out of the Fed, I think we should really look at going back to a gold standard. Second thing he said is, the reversal of globalization will destroy the entire global economic system. And what's happening right now? We're thinking about going back to a gold standard. At least the people that Trump is hiring at the Fed are thinking that. So we'll see. And Trump is clearly trying to end globalization with all his tariffs and trade wars. Nobody wins in that, and he knows that. Everybody knows that. If you take Economics 101, you know that 1929, all the sanctions and tariffs helped destroy the economy. Now, some might say, yeah, it was all on purpose by the banks so they can grab control of everything. Probably. And then the confiscation of gold in 1933, that had more to do with the gold in the Grand Canyon and getting possession of the gold that the banks were trying to steal. So, yes, we are entering a time when all this shit's going to go down. I'm very excited about it. It's the culmination of my life's work on the Road to Ruta. But it ain't over. I mean, high likelihood that even if there's a huge hiccup, there will be some form of stealth bailout. I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't solve any of the problems. But the crypto guys seem to want it, and they are... they seem to be calling the shots as far as who's going to have the next monetary system. So we'll see what happens there. But I'd say, why am I going to saddle my kids with these problems that my grandparents saddled me with? And we have a chance, a one-time shot at ending this situation. Otherwise, we are going to screw our grandkids like you wouldn't believe. If we don't deal with this problem now, our grandkids are going to be screwed and going to hate us as much as we hate our grandparents for what they got us into today. So that's my take on, those of you scared of the transition. let me tell you, they were scared of the transition in 1913. They were scared of the transition in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. They've always been scared of the transition, but the transition has gotten harder and harder and bigger and worse and worse. If we don't deal with it, our grandkids will deal with something worse than what we have now. Can you imagine that? They will be slaves to the masters. The guys that Dick Allgaier is talking about. They will be slaves to them unless we deal with it. So, yeah, I think Greenspan did a good thing to allow the derivative bubble to blow so big and so high, and all the bubbles around the world, and everything to be digitized and everything to be easily traded, such that when these things lock up, it's going to get really ugly. As in really ugly. As in it's over. So, hang on tight. That's where we're headed. And yes, I am scared and excited, both. I'm scared that millions of people will die. We'll see mass chaos. But I'm excited that I'm not going to put my kids through what our grandparents have put us through. All right? That's all I got for you. BigSquare, roadrunner.com. Talk to you later.